Hey guys, it's Carrie here, and today is July 14th, so that means it is time to do another garden tour and update video because it is exactly 8 weeks since we first transplanted everything into the garden. So it is late afternoon right now. I have about 2 hours of daylight left, and I thought this would be the perfect time so that way I'm just not being beaten down by the sun. But anyway, I'm going to start with the berry pen back there, which has had a lot of action going on. I'm so surprised how well the cucamelons have done. They literally created like a solid wall of ivy and even started to grow upwards on the ceiling. So let's go check it out. So here is the pen, and if you notice, we now have a new nice latch put on. Now as far as the strawberries, they've pretty much stayed the same, but look how massive this marigold was. And that used to be just one little plug in a slat, and now it is just like an absolute monster. Same with this one. But anyway, so here is that Belgium tomato. It has almost reached the top of the cage. I'm just making sure it stays in. But here is the wall of cucamelons. Like, it is just absolutely ridiculous. And I haven't been really doing my best, but I could probably get more to climb up this netting. But you can see the little baby cucamelons hanging down there. But this is only 4 plants, people. Like, wow, absolutely wow. I don't know if this is normal, but it is just absolute madness. All right, and then here are the Scotch bonnet peppers. They are doing well. I have to figure out how I'm going to stake these because we don't have any cones left, and I can't really do that string trellis like we did in the other video. The sun's in the way, so it's kind of going to be a bad shot, but oh my gosh. There is a Queen Anne melon. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. And these are pocket melons, so they're not going to get too much big. Oh my gosh, we have 2. Oh my gosh, we have 2. This is so exciting. Yay! And they're pocket melons, so I can't imagine they're going to get that much bigger. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I can't wait to smell them. But yeah, no, this is done absolutely well. Oh, there's a 3rd one. This just makes me so excited because I haven't actually checked this in a couple days, so this kind of appeared very recently. But let's see if we can find any tiger melons. The tiger melon is slowly behind in terms of like biological clock, molecular clock, whatever you want to, no, not molecular clock, doesn't make sense. But here, so next to it is the tiger melon, and it is just now starting to produce their flowers. So in terms of cross-pollination between the Queen Anne melon, oh, here's one. So that might be cross-pollinated, but I think overall the majority, the Queen Anne melon was putting out flowers way sooner. So I think as long as I save the seeds from the first couple melons, I should be good of having true seeds. But yeah, so that is pretty much the berry pen. Not too much going on with the berries, like I said. Here's a couple strawberries here and there. Ooh, here's kind of a nice one back there. Anyway, let's move on to the beds in the back. So Jeremiah and I have been talking, and basically the area around the beehive we're going to be tilling and dedicating to just more garden space. So half of it's going to be a medicinal herb garden. That will be an upcoming video where I show you all the things that I'm going to be growing. But then the other space will probably be for like more rhubarb. And I'm probably going to try to put my pumpkin plants there. once they're ready to go out, because the way the watermelon has been behaving, you'll see it in a couple minutes. I am just absolutely terrified of what 4 pumpkin plants are gonna do. But anyway, here we are, garden beds. Here are the 4 yellow pear tomatoes. They have really bushed out, like I'm surprised. I've tried to keep track of putting the new growth in the cages, but a lot of them have just slipped away from me. So, but thankfully the tomatoes aren't that heavy, so it's not going to be a really big deal. But here are the herbs. There's the thyme. There is the summer savory, Russian tarragon. They have been doing absolutely well. I actually have to get a guard because it's drowning out that spicy orange thyme, or maybe I just have to move it. But here are the pepperoncinis. Honestly, I think these peppers have caught up and maybe surpassed the pepper production that had like been in the ground like a month before in advance. Like they already have so many peppers on them. That one in the back there, tons. So it's just like, wow. Here is the fennel. Fennel is doing well. Here's a nice little bulb. See, we get some bulbs. Yep, so they're doing well. And then here are the Korean peppers. Like again, these peppers have just done like phenomenal. I don't know what it is. Maybe because they maybe have more light. But yeah, they got like full grown peppers on them. Here is the rosemary. It's kind of getting shaded out by the yellow pear, so I might have to come up with a solution and pull that back. Here is the borage. The borage's doing well. I harvested some of it just because it was kind of taking over the space and I'm just letting it hang. Here are the leeks. The leeks are doing very well. Just again, probably going to be a minute before those are ready. Rhubarb and the dill. The dill is starting to dry out and produce seeds. Here is one that is, you know, pretty much brown and dried out. So this one has seeds for us. Here are eggplants that need to go in the bed, but I have lost my garden tools at the moment and I can't find them. And here are the French breakfast radishes. They are produced their pods, so I'm just waiting for those to die out and dry out. Here is the red onions, and they are not doing too well. I'm pretty sure I only have 2 onions left maybe, so I'm going to evict the onions. Oh wow, here's an ice pop. That's random. But anyway, so I'm gonna evict the few remaining onions and put those eggplants in their place. Here is thyme. Oh no, here is oregano, and that's flowering, producing seed. And then that is chive. Horseradish is looking good. And here are 2 sunflowers that are not doing too well. You'll see I'll show you their counter partners, whatever, who were started at the same time, and they're in a better spot, so they're just doing well. Here are the grapes. Grapes are not doing too hot. A lot of them have dried out, so I've just been watering the plant to make sure that, you know, we can kind of save the rest of it, which is a bummer. It had so much production. If it's not due to dehydration, the grapes might be drying out just because the plant is producing too much. This plant, I don't know when the last time it was pruned, probably a couple years. So I think next year we're going to cut it back really hard and kind of streamline how much grapes it can produce. And hopefully, even if it's a combination, you know, we'll be able to water it and it'll, you know, be doing things more efficiently. So I'm just hoping we get a couple grapes. Here is a quick view of our Arabian jasmine plants. They have bounced back so hard from when they initially were planted. They were dried out and crusty, and honestly I love them because when we sit out here at night to watch movies, you can just literally smell the jasmine everywhere. And I actually have been picking up the leaves, flowers, and just been bringing them in the house and putting them in teas. So here are the main lot of sunflowers, and they have been doing exceptionally well. They're probably about 3 feet tall now. These are, I think, Israeli giant sunflowers. So they're kind of like mammoth gray. They produce huge heads, but they also produce huge seeds. So one thing I've learned from growing sunflowers is it's not only the head of the flower that moves as the sun moves throughout the day, it's also the leaves. So the leaves will start facing east and just kind of follow it as the day goes on. So if you saw in the last clip, you can see all of the flowers facing towards the sunset. So that's really cool. Okay, so now we're entering the main garden. Here are some corn that I have thinned from the main corn area and just trying to get some extra plants by building a natural border. But the reason I'm over here is to show you the sugar baby watermelons that are growing. So we currently have 2, and I think there's a couple other ones that are starting. And here's one right there. But yeah, so those are the watermelon and the corn. Alright, so heading on inside. Here is a huge overview of what's going on. It is like a vast jungle. I'm honestly starting to become overwhelmed by how much the plants have grown. Like, I have to basically watch my step. These 2 beds right here are zucchini and squash, and they've started to overgrow their area and enter the walkway. Here are my ginger plants. I'm not sure if I talked about them last video, but here is what they look like. So part of my overwhelming thoughts are these tomatoes behind me. They have outgrown their tomato cages by about 3 or 4 feet now and are about 8 pushing 9 feet tall. Like, it is just unreal how tall these tomatoes are growing. Yes, they're indeterminate and maybe I could top them, but I don't know. I think it's too late at this point. So right here where you see this tomato is where the cage stops, and they have just continued to grow. They're kind of blending into the background with the trees, but they were starting to fall over. I'm not going to move this too much, but a lot of the vines have fallen over and rested on the cattle panel arches, as well as falling over to this side. But we have taken this fence and basically run it all along the thing to try to keep these vines up. Like, look, these things have clearly cleared me in terms of height. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, in terms of actual tomato production, they really didn't start flowering until they reached like the brim of the tomato cage, and all the flowers are just up in the sky. So we really needed this, because once they started to bear fruit, they definitely would have fallen over and snapped if the wind didn't get it first. Oh wow, there's a really big tomato there. I'm just looking. So before we reach this point, I have been pruning these tomato plants to kind of force production and make sure there is lots of airflow, because it's very humid here and I don't want any fungus or molds growing. But with this fence up, it is very difficult for me to prune now, so that makes me very nervous, but I'm just hoping they just continue to do well. It's interesting that the flowers didn't start till they almost reached the height of the tomato cage. So there's very few at the mid to bottom, But the same can't be said for the tomatoes growing in the arch. I feel like since they had difficulties with upward growth, being slightly inhibited, they've produced a lot more fruits at the bottom. Don't get me wrong, the heights of them are good now, but they're just bearing a lot more fruit. So time will tell if these guys will produce as much fruit as the ones growing inside the arch. You know, they'll just produce it at the very tippy top. So we'll see. But the tomatoes are huge over here. I'm so excited. I'm going to show you more tomatoes. These tomatoes are just absolutely beautiful. Here we go. They just have me so excited. Yeah. So as I'm walking down this massive wall of tomatoes, we also are going to get into the tomatillo territory. These, again, are just growing crazy too, so they really needed the support of this fencing as well. So it is just all bundled up. But they have tons of tomatillos starting to expand their husk. And they're so nice because they just look like little paper lanterns. Here's another good bunch of them, but I have so many tomatillos, I don't know what to do with. Okay, go around the corner to kind of get another overview. So you used to be able to see all the tomatoes going back there, but now it's just like a wall of jungle. It is insane. Here are more lanterns, tomatillo lanterns. Yep. But then here is the pepper patch. They are doing very well. We already harvested 2 bell peppers from it. I don't know if I have any more currently. Oh, here's one. Here's a bell pepper. Oh, there is another bell pepper. Most of them are Cali Wonder. There are a couple rainbow ones that I kind of harvested that I saved myself from the store. So unless I'm looking directly at the label, I won't be able to tell. But here are some jalapenos. But I think the important thing to remember here with the pepper patch is that these had 2 months of progress, and the ones over in the garden bed only had 1 month, and they already have like all their peppers set. Like, that's just crazy. And we're gonna walk around the corner here. Here is part of the watermelon. Now I gotta talk about this watermelon for a minute, because this watermelon is giving me tons of anxiety. It has just grown everywhere here. And this is a Charleston Gray watermelon. I don't even know if we have that many melons on it. So this one's actually not too bad because its original location is somewhere right around here, I think. Yeah, so it started here. And this one has that, but also has one running this way. And that was the original intention, to meet in the middle with other watermelon. Here are the sugar beets. They should come out soon. I already pulled one out for testing and its root is not that big. I think it did more leaf growth than actual root growth, but that's okay. I'll just have to make sure the nutrients are in the right next time. Here are the cayenne peppers. The cayenne peppers are doing super well. Like I said, they were producing lots of pepper before. I actually already took one that was red. But these are probably 2 or 3 feet tall now. Look at all the peppers. I saved these seeds last year and they have just flourished. And the beets are getting in the way at this point, so I really think I need to take out the beets. Take out the beets. Here are the cabbages that are going to seed and flower. I think I'm going to rip them up because I planted so much more cabbage. So besides the watermelon, another plant that is giving me anxiety is this loofah plant. I didn't want that many loofahs. I only did 2 loofah plants because I know they get big and I don't want that many sponges, you know. But these things are just insane. They actually have grown the length of the cattle panel that I have originally give them, and I have been branching their leaves over to the arch cattle panel just because there's just no more room left. Both of these loofahs start right here, and this one branched this way and then has gone that way over the cattle panel. Here is some golden corn, golden bantam corn, I believe. A couple of them are leaning over. I'm gonna try to stake them to see if that helps. There are beans interplanted between them, but they're not pole beans. And then here's my oxlican corn, I think. And those are doing well. None of them are really leaning. Okay, so let's move this way. Here is another cucumber plant that I had extra, and I don't think it's too happy over here, producing a few cucumbers. But holy moly, the real showcase over here is this habanero plant. Before, these habanero plants were super tiny and basically did nothing the first month. But now it is even more massive, more bushy than the cayenne pepper. Yeah, actually here is a hidden cucumber, so let's pick that. Yeah, everything is just like crammed to the max here. So I got my wish for biodiversity, but like, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do with myself anymore. Here is the midget melon. It has taken off and is doing well. Here's another view of the habanero. And here is another mystery melon. There is the other loofah. Here are two more extra tomato plants that need to be staked soon. Here are the regular beets. So now I'm gonna show you how crazy this watermelon plant is. The base of the root is here, right? And it goes all the way down to here, right? Cool. It actually, it's going through the cabbage to here, right? Here's where its partner is. I think it's kind of buried in the cabbage, right? That is just one shoot. So let's go back all the way over here, right? Another one has ran off this way through the corn. And here's another one wrapping around. That ends there. But here is the watermelon coming out the other side of the corn patch over into this row. Right? But I'm not done. So if we go backtrack this way, here is one going around the potato stack this way and one going around the potato stack that way. So then it continues 2 rows over here, right? This is just the one plant. Basically wraps itself around this potato stack and has kept going, and now is making it all the way back over to the wall of tomatoes. So it is literally infiltrated almost every row. It has infiltrated every row of my garden rows, and now it's making its way that way. Like, I don't know what to do with it at this point. And I'm not even sure if I have a watermelon. Let's search for a big watermelon. There's lots of flowers, but like, I just don't know if there's even a watermelon growing. Like, is it just doing all this for fun? Like, it's just sending shoots off everywhere it goes. Everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Like, I'm getting confused with my potato plant at this point. Where is a watermelon? I demand to find and seek a watermelon. Like, if this plant has grown this much, like, I demand a watermelon. I'll keep looking in a minute, but I don't know if like a watermelon just needs to like reach like a critical mass before, I don't know, but it's producing flowers, so I think it's ready to produce a watermelon, but I just don't see any. Alright, let's keep searching. We can check its partner. Like this one's kind of hanging, so maybe we're able to. Whew. Here it is, going on the peppers. I just like, here are more flowers, but I just can't seem to find a watermelon. Yeah, so the fact that both of these plants haven't produced a melon yet is just mind-boggling. Charleston Gray, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so now I'm making my way into the arch, and the pickle plants are doing well. Some of the areas have died off, so I have kind of pruned and cut those back, but it's still producing cucumbers. I already have a lot of pickles already, so now we're just kind of eating them fresh with hummus. All right, and here's our first 2 ripened tomato. Ooh, it's getting soft. Oh my gosh, I think another day or 2. But in terms of what I was talking about before, whoop, fall in there. All of these tomatoes have produced a whole bunch on a shorter level. Like, look at that. Look at that, just clusters and clusters of tomato. And there's multiple varieties in here, as in the wall, and all of the varieties have produced way much more in here so far. Yeah, so just bumps and bumps, clumps and clumps. Yeah, so these 4 right here are Brandywine. Here's the basil and kales and stuff. I can't remember what this guy is. Let's see if I can find the tag. I think it's a Zoykacha, so a yellow tomato. Here's the back view of the tomatillos. Yeah, here is the Italian beef producing lots of clumps. Like, oh my gosh. Like, look here, see? So I think having them grow on a cattle panel in a vertical kind of way that inhibits and makes them twist and turn more. Like, yeah, here's another cluster back there. That might be the way to go in terms of getting more protection. And I do shake the flowers every time I see them. So, yeah, let's see if I have any more flowers. Yeah, so let's pretend these are flowers that are in bloom, right? I'll take them and shake the flowers to get the pollen to fall. Yeah, so as I was saying before, here are 2 loofah stems that I have transferred over to the arch. And then here's another one. I believe you can see it connecting and just making its way over. So these next ones are trophy tomatoes, and they have a few that are ripening up as well, so that is exciting. Tomato squeeze. Oh yeah, that's soft. So yeah. Oh, here's another one. Oh my gosh, it's all happening. I've been waiting and waiting. Yeah, so the tomatoes inside the arch are doing much better in terms of production. They're even ripening faster, so I will have tomatoes on my hands very soon, which I'm excited for. I'm tired of ordering tomatoes from the grocery store. But yeah, I think that concludes the tour pretty much. Obviously, huge difference in the span of the month, and I don't know if you can tell in this video, I've been kind of scattered brained because that's just how much, and I feel like that's my overwhelming manifesting in this video. I'm just like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Like I just can't keep up with what's going on. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this progress video. Hopefully I wasn't too jumpy for you. Maybe just like month-to-month videos are too much of a gap span. Maybe I should do like every 2 weeks, but I definitely want to do every week because there's so much other stuff going on that I want to show you guys that. So give a thumbs up if you would like to see more frequent garden updates, or should I keep them as is, doing like a month so that way you don't have too much videos. I don't know, I'm tired, can't think. Maybe I'll start doing tomato specific videos so you can actually see all the different ones that are growing, but I'll probably wait till they're, you know, a little bit more ripe so you can actually see all the different colors and shapes and sizes. So thank you guys for watching. Take care till next time. Bye.